went through each jungle deep for the paradise that we'd to see. There's no trip for the weak. We're waltzing with the natives. Na 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 na.
Hello everybody, how are we all doing? I was going to say welcome back there, but it's not welcome back because this is our debut show. This is the beginning of a new venture for myself and Corey. For anybody who doesn't know, we do another podcast called Off the Underside, but we have decided to do a little side project because we're both big Celtic fans, and we've decided to start this channel called the Celtic Corner, which will be all things Celtic, as that's pretty obvious. We'll be putting daily content. We will be discussing every match basically beforehand and afterwards, and we'll just be giving you as much Celtic content as we possibly can, you know, within reason, with our time and our schedule and other stuff, because we are not quitting Off the Underside. That's our little baby. We love that podcast, and we'll not be giving that one up because that is all Scottish football, whereas this is obviously Celtic based only. But Corey, how are you feeling about this, mate? This new venture that we're just about to take on?
Buzzing, mate. Always good to talk about Celtic. I know off the underside, like you said, it's our baby, but sometimes you just want to rant and rave about the team you support, don't you?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And, you know, we're getting quite a lot of comments on Off the Underside going, oh, all you're doing is talking about Celtic and Rangers and stuff like that. So maybe if we're more focused on Celtic on here, then that'll give you more time to kind of discuss the other games in Scotland as well and Off the Underside, do you know what I mean? Because we'll get all this off our chest on here. But
Off the underside is a Celtic podcast. I'm not really helping the sort of comments by doing this.
I know, but hey, maybe one, like I say, the one we go back to Off the Underside, we'll be talking more about the other games and that as well, I'm sure. So, so it's exciting, man. It's exciting. We'll be getting guests down the line as well. I'm sure we'll maybe have some old guests on that we've had on previously. We'll have on other podcasters, I'm sure, and stuff like that as well. So, it's exciting times. I think once you get to, I think it must be like 500 on YouTube, you can go live and that. So once we get to that, which we will, pretty rapid, I believe, I think that we will start going live more often than that as well. But at the moment, it's just going to be videos until we get to that number. Anyway,
if they do watch-alongs and stuff like that. Sorry, we just.
I know, definitely, mate. I mean, more ideas the better. Stuff we can do, watch-alongs. We can do. Thing is, with this, man, it's just the two of us, so we can just discuss everything day by day and, you know, come up with new ideas all the time and stuff. But I will be doing shorts, and I believe, Corey, you'll be doing some content on your own as well and stuff, because it's usually you've not really kind of done that road yet, but I'm sure that you're going to start doing that, aren't you, I think?
Aye, because I wanted to do it for Off the Underside a wee bit more, but I'll definitely do it for this one because I'll have a lot more thoughts, obviously, being a Celtic fan and stuff like that, so I'll probably do a lot. I'll try to do it for both of them, but I'll do a lot for this one as well, especially.
Aye, because obviously you've got a season ticket as well, so you go to quite a lot of the games, you go to a number of away games, you go to cup semi-finals and finals and that as well, so I'm sure you'll be doing some vlogs and stuff, you know, that'll really help the channel that people will want to see.
Definitely, I'll be doing that.
Good, mate, good. Aye, so that is the plan for the future, guys. That is what we're going to be getting into. It's going to be all Celtic related. So, first of all, Corey, for anybody who hasn't seen Off the Underside, they'll know any of our opinions on how this season's went and, you know, the absolute chaos that's came with this season, start to finish and that. So, my question to you, first of all, is, mate, how do you analyse this season? How's it been for you? What's your thoughts on it?
It's hard to kind of put it in so many words because, like you said, it's just been an absolute fucking disaster for the get-go as well. It's been since August, it feels like, that we've not really been able to get players in. We've had players in, but it's to a certain quality that we've needed. Rodgers kind of spat the dummy out a wee bit. We fucked up in the Champions League qualifier. We fucked up the start of the season. Rodgers left. We had Martin O'Neill, and that felt like a purple patch. I thought it was going to be a purple patch anyway until we get this new guy in and probably get back on track. That was an absolute disaster as well under Nonce. Just one disaster after the other. Martin O'Neill's came back. He's brought back a bit of stability, but it feels like you can kind of see a wee bit that the players aren't good enough. Like certain players aren't good enough, and the players that we have brought in, especially in the January transfer window, are absolutely not good enough. They don't really have much of a future apart from Arajo. I say he's the only one who's got a potential future in the club if we're able to get that transfer over the line. It'll be a good bit of money, but long story short, it's pretty much a disaster, and I feel like Celtic themselves are the ones to blame for the top down.
Aye, I think that's a good analysis, mate. I couldn't put it any better myself. It's been topsy-turvy, and the fact that we're sitting here in March, only 2 points behind the leaders of the Scottish Premiership is absolutely incredible, considering all that stuff you've just spoke about, on and off the park. I mean, you've mentioned there about all the stuff that's happened on the park with Nancy and Rodgers and stuff, but all the stuff that's happened off the park as well with Rodgers and, you know, the AGM and all that carry on as well has been absolutely incredible. And like I say, to still be 2 points just behind Hearts in the Scottish Premiership is mental. But I agree with you with your point there about having a future at Celtic. And, you know, we had an argument on the off the underside a few months ago that, you know, a lot of people were spoke about, and, you know, it did create a lot of attention and that. And that was during the time of Wilfred Nonce when he was the manager of Celtic. And your point was the players aren't good enough. And I didn't disagree with that point. My point was that, you know, there is certain players that aren't good enough, but they're still good enough to win games in this country and stuff. So, like, I agree with you that the players aren't good enough. I mean, Rio Hatati's not good enough. I think that there's just a number of players. Diza Maida looks like a different type of player this season. He's no cutting it at all. Who else? Tannadice is maybe an impact player. I thought I was really excited with him at the start. But, you know, again, he's not doing it often enough. Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, we need to be doing better than that when it comes to centre halves. Kasper Schmeichel, obviously we'll get to that later on, these CBS comments and stuff, but he's not good enough either. But I agree with you, mate. All over the park, Celtic haven't been good enough. But I mean, it is actually really mad how we are still in this title race, isn't it?
I thought, especially the way Hearts did actually start the season, I thought we'll get that together eventually. Then after it was getting more and more, I would say about November time when I started to worry. Obviously, there was still some people like, oh, it's all right, it's only November. You don't win leagues in November, you don't win leagues in October and stuff like that. But like, can be an ongoing occurrence, and there's been a lot already. With Rodgers leaving the Champions League for a cup, the players that we were getting in weren't really the good enough standard. I thought the players that you've named there, Hatate, Maeda, I thought McGregor's one of them as well, that they're just not playing to the standard they need to be consistently. And I always thought that was an issue that hopefully was going to turn itself around. It has to an extent, but with all that in the background and still being able to be in with a shout of winning this league is amazing.
I certainly don't think it's helped the fact that Brendan Rodgers started the campaign. They knew his system. They knew how to, you know, play the tactics he wanted to play. And then, obviously, he's left. Martin O'Neill comes in, so that's a new tactic. That's a new... Are you clicking your pen, by the way? You got a pen or something you're clicking?
No.
No, it's just you hear a clicking quite a lot.
Oh, I'm no me.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Must just be... Can you not hear that?
No.
I
I waited a
don't
wee
know.
bit just to hear it, but no.
It's like a wee clicking. I don't... Anyway, Brendan Rodgers, he left, so obviously that is actually pure distracting me, man. Jesus. So the players had to adapt to Martin O'Neill's style of play, which was obviously different again. He had his own ideas. Then Wilfred Nonce's came in. They've had to completely rip up the book on that one because he played a back three and that. So, and then back to Martin O'Neill again. So I don't think it's helped that there's been so much kind of change within the club, on and off the park. You know, Peter Lawwell's left as well, and I just feel that there's just been a lot of ups and downs with Celtic on and off the park, which has no helped the players perform. You know what I mean? And especially under Wilfred Nonsi, mate, because absolutely nobody was performing at any point.
No. But I know, I do get what you're saying that, but I think it's professional football. I think, see the background stuff when it comes to Peter Lawwell and stuff like that shouldn't come into play. You should be able to like get into the zone and kind of forget about all that sort of distraction. I get with the fans, probably the protests and stuff like that. I can kind of see why that could be an issue because obviously you're playing in front of the fans, you're hearing what they're shouting. And I would imagine it wouldn't be nice to hear sack the board, especially if you're a new player like Tannadice, like Negrin. They're probably thinking to themselves, do they think we're not good enough? Because we were the ones that they signed and they're saying no, we need better. So I can kind of get that, but aye, there's been a lot of change, tactics wise, managers wise, and it has been a bit of a clusterfuck for the players, and I can kind of see that point. Aye,
Aye, definitely. And, you know, whoever wins this league, you've got 8 games to go here. Whoever wins this league is, in my opinion, they've been very, very lucky because even Hearts, you know, like everybody says they've had a great season and, you know, they've overperformed for a club of their size and stuff. But considering how bad Celtic and Rangers have both been, you know, they should be well clear. They should be well clear. They've been consistent. They've had players in. All right, they've had their injuries and stuff, but they've been leading the pack for a long, long time now. And you know, see, if I'm a Hearts fan, I'm really, really disappointed, Corey, that they're only 2 points clear at this point. You know,
I would be because like you said, they've been leading the pack. It's been about, I think it was October when they got first, and they've not looked back since. But it's the past month, I would say you can kind of see the cracks showing. A few poor performances here and there. The Kilmarnock game obviously took a massive dent out of them, getting kicked out of the Scottish Cup as well. I think that was a massive dent to them. As much as they kind of say, "Oh, we can focus on the league," it can ruin the momentum in a way if you're trying to go for all sorts of trophies and stuff like that, especially Scottish Cup was a wee bit more winnable in my opinion for Hearts. So I would be disappointed, especially the gap they did have, and it's now only down to 2 points. And I feel Hearts fans, Hearts manager, and maybe even the Hearts players are starting to feel the pressure.
I agree with McInnes anyway. I definitely think he is. But I made this point in our podcast the other night, and I've got to say to you, I don't know if you heard it right, but everybody's going about how Shankland and Devlin and all these guys are back for Hearts. It's going to take these guys time to get back up to speed. They've had hamstring injuries. They've had, I can't remember what it is with Cammy Devlin, but he had some sort of serious injury as well. Took him out for like 8 weeks. Did Hearts fans really expect, you know, did any fan really expect Shankland just to come in and start scoring goals immediately and, you know, playing 90 minutes and contributing to the team and that? Because mate, it takes time to come back for these type injuries.
Definitely, and I think especially you have to take into consideration Shankland's age. He's in his 30s now, so it could take a lot longer for him to get fully fit. And I think we mentioned it off the underside as well. Is that will they ever get back to that form, or was that just their purple patch? Was that their whole season? Pretty much, that's the best they're going to get out of them, especially with injuries. And like you said, they were bad injuries. Some players don't come back for that until the next season when they get a full pre-season in them again. So it's interesting to see, but I think a Hearts team with Shankland even half fit is a scary sight, to be fair.
Oh, definitely, he's a really, really good player in this country and he scores goals and it's just going to take him a wee bit of time, I feel. You know what I mean?
Aye, definitely. I don't think surely Hearts fans can't expect that he's going to come in and be the player that he was straight away. It's going to take a wee while. He might need to come off the bench and regain his match fitness that way. Can he start games straight away? Because we've had it ourselves. We've had it with Johnston this season. When they get rushed back too quickly, they can get the bad injuries again. So Denton McInnes needs to use his managerial experience a wee bit and a bit of savvy, and he's a into it. But like you said, there's only 8 games to go. Title race is very tight, so he might need to bite the bullet on one of them. Either one of them's not going to play as much, or they'll have to start the games instantly.
I definitely feel that Shanklin coming back is a big boost. As for Cammy Devlin, I mean, he was playing unbelievable before he got his injury. There was loads of people. I done a video a few months ago saying, I think it was in January, and I said if you were to pick Scottish player of the season right now, who would it be? And there was loads and loads of people saying Cammy Devlin. I mean, but he's never played this well before. It's going to be really difficult for him to come in and perform like the way he has. Whereas you've seen this for Shanklin before. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of expect more for Shanklin when he comes in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, Shanklin, we all know, goal scorer. He's probably the best out and out striker, like Scottish striker in the league, even just in just Scotland in general. I think he's an incredible player, and he's been an incredible player for Hearts. But I get what you mean with Cammy Devlin. You've never really heard people ranting and raving about him, how good he is, and oh, he's an excellent passer of the ball. Or anything. Like, it used to be just Cammy Devlin's a wee bit of an arse. Like, he was one of the arsehole players that he would get in somebody's ear, get them booked, and maybe even get them a red card. And that was his game, and there's nothing wrong with that because Scott Brown was the master of that, in my opinion. So, but this season he's been up a level, and I I'll I'll be shocked if he comes back instantly and be the exact same player he was at the start of the season.
I totally agree, mate. I think that every successful team needs like a player like Cammy Devlin, as in the attitude wise, putting your foot in and getting in the opponent's face and stuff. But this is definitely the best year he's had ability wise and on the ball, and he's been creating chances and he's been stopping plays and he's been really good. It's just been really unfortunate for him and Hearts that he did have that injury, because if he performed at that level throughout the season, he would have got player of the season, I think.
I would definitely be in contention for it. Definitely. My opinion, I still think it's Tannadice for Motherwell. I think he's my player of the year. But I can see people's arguments for Cammy Devlin, especially the form he was on, and he was getting a good few goals, which really wasn't really his game. He was, like you said, he was more bringing up the plays, setting people up, but he's getting in with a few goals, some important goals. Because I can remember when I think it was Hibs. I think they lost that game, but it was a wee bit more a momentum boost. They were like, we're still not out it type of thing. So I they have to just wait and see with Devlin, but I do think Shanklin he'll come in and he'll get a good few goals and maybe rejuvenate that Hearts attack, which they really need.
Definitely. When it comes to player of the season and stuff, I think it's going to depend on who wins the league, to be honest. I think if it's Celtic, you've got to give it to Benjamin Negrin for the amount of goals he scored. When it comes to Celtic being in positions where it looks kind of dark and daunting, where you're not going to get a goal for anywhere, Benjamin Negrin has consistently stepped up for Celtic. And I think if Celtic going to win the league, you've got to give it to him. If Hearts going to win the league, I think you've got to give it to Braga.
Aye.
I think that he's
Aye.
been really consistent. And then if Rangers win the league, I don't really know, actually. I mean, there's not really been a top level performer for Rangers all season. I know Raskin was getting a lot of abuse at one point, and do you maybe go down the road of Manny Fernandez? Has he maybe been their best player this season? But has he been the player of the season? I would suggest not. But I mean, I reckon if it's Hearts win the league, I reckon it's Braga. If Celtic win the league, I reckon you've got to get Negrin.
The thing with Negrin, he seems like an enigma to me. He scores so many goals, he assists so many, like he does so many assists, but I still think that he's not incredible. He's still not great. Someone said it to me. He's the best shite player that we've got. He's the in it. Is what was it? He's the shitest Zinedine Zidane ever. Type
For
of
fuck's
thing.
sake. Whoever said that after he'd.
Like he's a really good player, and he's also not a really good player, and it's the best way to describe him because there's some games he'll score a goal, amazing, then he'll just go missing in the game, and you're just like, what the fuck? But I do agree, really. If it was the Celtic to win the league, it probably would have to go with Benjamin Negrin because of the goals and the assist that he's contributed, but I don't think he's that good. It's a straight. That's why I think he's an enigma. It's just strange. He does come up with the important goals and stuff, but it just I don't know. Don't know what it is about him.
Aye, no, I get it, mate. I get it, but and I've heard a lot of people saying it. My mates are saying it in the group, but I don't agree. I really don't. I think Benjamin Negrin, okay, he does go missing in games, but so did see when he goes missing, Celtic go missing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's not as if it's just him. Everybody kind of performs poor whenever it's just been like a team effort. But he, even when Celtic are playing poor, he will pop up in the right position at the right time and score the goals. And I get it. You're wanting maybe an impact when he's on the ball and stuff and that. But I mean, I reckon he does do. He's share more than he's share enough for Celtic to be considered for player of the season, and he's definitely been the best signing we've had over the past year, without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, Kieran Tierney as well has been really good. I think he gets a bit of unfair criticism as well, to be honest. But I just look at it as a collective. Whenever Benjamin Negrin's not playing well, I don't really see anybody playing well. You know what I mean? But I mean, I know, but I get it though. You're wanting Maria kind of, like a Tom Rogic come on, and they would always make an impact, and he would always kind of not just score goals, but he would create things, and he would always be involved in the play in some way. And I kind of get that. Maybe Negrin doesn't get involved in the play as much as he should, but I mean, we've got to look at the players around about him, mate, as we mentioned earlier on, that there's some of them just aren't good enough. So these are the guys he's playing alongside. So maybe he's not getting the opportunities that that he would probably get at a more at a better team. Do you know what I mean? A more successful kind of team or whatever. But anyway, that's what I think on that. We've spoken about injuries, mate, with Cammy Devlin and Lauren Shanklin did that. Yesterday, Callum McGregor and Alistair Johnston, which is a big one, have both came back into training. What do you make of Alistair Johnston come back into training? He's away with Canada now after this weekend, but the Canadian manager has said that he won't be playing. He's just going to be training with the squad and stuff over the international period, and then when he comes back, hopefully he'll be ready to come back in the team. Obviously, I know that you're going to say he's a good player and it's a boost to the squad and that, but Julian Araujo has been fantastic for Celtic since he's came in. Does it Alistair Johnston is going to have to bide his time to get back in this team?
I think so. I think so because I don't. I think it would be unfair to Araho if he just dropped him just for Alistair Johnson, because I think since he's came into the squad, he's made it a lot better. There's a bit of energy in that the right back area that you don't really get for Ralston, and he seems like he's got a bit of dig about him as well. I feel Johnson's technically a better player, but I do think we've got two good right backs here. And when was the last time we had that? Probably Juranovic before Johnson came in. Juranovic and Johnson, sorry. So I think it would only benefit Celtic because both of them are going to have to play outstanding to keep that position, and both of them will have to train exceptionally well to keep that position as well. So it could only help us in the long run, I would say.
Would you say, right, and I was thinking about this, Celtic wingers haven't been great this season. Balashawi was signed, he's not getting a kick of the ball, and Kuvu doesn't look up to it. As we said earlier, Tannadice, more an impact player, he's not shown enough. James Forrest is getting on a bit now, even though he's still a Class 3 player, in my opinion. Dizamida's just lost something out in the wing. So all these guys, mate, Jota's injured, all these guys, is there a shout that possibly you could maybe push Araho up and play Alistair Johnston as a right back and play Araho as a right winger?
I think
Or vice versa?
it could work, but I think it's just the attacking side that will be let down because we kind of want, the way we're playing, the wingers do get in the attacking positions to score goals, and I don't know if Araho's got that. I know he scored a goal against Kilmarnock, but I don't know if that's really his cup of tea, and I think it's the same with Johnson. If it's just clear crossing the ball into the box and like old school wingers, then maybe it would work, but the way we've been playing, it's like Yang's coming into the box and looking for goals, and
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's really going to work. I can get your logic. Like if it was an old school winger, you would I would definitely be up for it, but it's just the way we're playing. I don't think it would suit him.
Nah, you're probably right. I was just kind of trying to see if there's a way about getting both of them in the team because, as you say, it's definitely the best options we've had since Johnston and Juranovic because both of these guys are internationals and they've both got real ability as well. And I like their characters off the park as well, Corey. You know what I mean? The two of them love to dig in. You know what I mean? They seem like very positive guys whenever you see their interviews and stuff. You know, the old Canadian way, and they kind of I know that Araujo's Mexican, but he's like he must have grew up in America or something because he's got a dead American accent, in he? So
I think it's just them with English and stuff like that. It's all Americanized. And
yeah,
I think he was in LA for a wee while as well, so he probably picked up a bit of the accent.
but definitely two very positive guys and two guys that you want in the dressing room as well as on the park, innit?
Definitely. I feel that Johnson especially has got a lot of leadership abilities. I think something you see him trying to organise defence a wee bit and maybe shouting at the winger. And he's just got that something about him. He's got a bit of it's like a bit of dig, and both of them have kind of got that. You can see it with Arajo with the Rangers games. He's maybe winding them up a wee bit, but he's still got that bit of dig about him, and that's what we've been missing. Like we were saying earlier on, but we've been missing that player that's got that bit of bottle, a bit. He's up for a fight. And Arajo seems that way, and he also seems like a bit of a madman when you see the videos of him in Wonderbar trying to claim. You seen the videos? Just
Aye,
hanging on the mad air duct thing. I'm like, I love him. Sign him up just for that.
But aye, you're definitely wanting these options rather than no have them. So it's a good headache for Martin O'Neill to have when Alistair Johnson is ready to come back into the play. But aye, let's talk a wee bit about before we talk about the game tomorrow. I want to talk a wee bit about Kasper Schmeichel this week because there's been a lot made of what Kasper Schmeichel has done. He basically said on Wednesday night that he was on CBS and he said on Wednesday night that he's got a shoulder injury. He'll need a couple of operations and it could be the last game he's ever played in football. He could have already played his last ever game. He said on CBS with his dad and Micah Richards before Celtic got to announce anything, before any Celtic fan or any Scottish football fan knew anything about it. The fact that we were told over the last few weeks that Kasper Schmeichel was taking injections, and we were told that he was feeling unwell in the Rangers game, the first Rangers game. We were told he just wasn't quite feeling well and stuff. His last game was against Stuttgart, where he conceded two terrible, terrible goals, in my opinion. And Peter Schmeichel said that night that it was kind of he died for it. He died for the ball that night, and that's what's kind of really done it. But my question to you is, Corey, how do you feel about the fact it's been announced on CBS on American TV? And basically, what's your thoughts on Kasper Schmeichel's comments? Because a lot has been made of the fact that he was talking about the World Cup. He was desperate to get to the World Cup, and he'd been trying and trying hard to get to the World Cup, and he never really mentioned anything to do with Celtic. What was your thoughts when you first seen this?
I think it kind of summarises their season at a T. Just a massive clusterfuck. I think it's a wee bit mental that Celtic haven't really said anything about it. But I feel that's also been an ongoing issue with the board or just the club in general, not really telling fans anything. The fans are really in the dark with certain things, and I feel like this would be something that there would be a statement out or there'd be something about it that just to inform fans that here, I suppose Michael might be on his way out. It looks like he's done an injury, blah blah blah. Feel I don't know if you'll agree with me. I feel that Kasper Schmeichel's been selfish because at the end of the day, Denmark don't pay his wages, we do. And I get that he wants to play for his country, he wants to play with another World Cup before he retires. That's all well and good. But you're meant that but I feel anyway, you're meant to put the club first, then it's your country. That's because we pay his wages week in, week out, and it's also a bit I think it's a bit of stupidity for him because he's going out there with a dodgy shoulder and he's making the injury a lot worse by playing on it, playing on plastic pitches like Kilmarnock and all that as well. So that's not really helping matters. And now he's saying that he's probably going to retire because of that. Like I think, see if he told because I feel like he's not told the Celtic doctors or anything like that. He's saying, I'm fine, I'll play on, or it's a wee bit sore, whatever. That's the way I feel, just so he can keep his World Cup hopes alive. But I think that's selfish and stupidity. And it's just mental because of his age and stuff like that. And I was saying it about Shankland a wee bit. The injuries you don't recover quickly like you used to do when you're younger. So I just think it's a wee bit selfish. I don't really mind him not mentioning anything about Celtic. That doesn't really bother me because I don't really think he cares that much about the fact that not really the fans. It sounds a bit harsh, but it's just kind of like us. Really, he is more. It's about his ego. It's about himself, and that's why I just think it's a bit stupid. A bit of stupidity and a bit of selfishness on my part, on his part. Sorry.
You get on to David, you know, done
I know it's selfish for me. I'm playing with them lot.
it. No, I agree with large parts of what you're saying there. I don't really feel that he said anything disrespectful to Celtic when he was talking on CBS, but the fact he even came out and said anything at all is disrespectful.
Mhm.
We should have found out through the club sources or whatever, like Kasper Schmeichel was, or even, you know, the media or whatever. We shouldn't have heard it on CBS for him, you know, sitting talking on a different channel about how he was, you know, desperate to get a World Cup and that. And I agree with the selfishness part, mate, but I can kind of understand it as well. You know, he was probably thinking, this is my last year or two in football. I want to get to this World Cup. He could probably he probably felt he could still do a job for Celtic, as in how many opportunities is he really gained up, you know, at Celtic, how many kind of chances he probably felt he could deal with 2 or 3 saves a match or whatever. And you know, the perfect example, mate, is the goal against Kilmarnock when Hugo scored, I'm sure it was, and the ball came looping over and he went with his right arm. And that was just the wrong thing to do. Any goalkeeper who was fit and healthy would have just palmed that away with a left hand easily. So he's definitely been playing with this injury since his injury in the Denmark squad for last year. But I can kind of understand. I'm not going to really criticise him for wanting to continue and playing. You know, if it wasn't a World Cup year, he'd have probably said, you know what, I'm injured here. Let Sinisalo step in. But you say selfishness, mate, but I mean, he's only got one career. This is him now. If he's done, then that's him done forever. So,
No, I
I
do
mean,
understand why he done it. I do understand it, but I just think it's a bit wild because what I said about we do pay his wages. I do get that he's a proud Dane. Dane. He wants to play with his country as much as possible. Wants to play in these World Cups and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're paying his wages, and he's playing with us more often than he's going to play with his country.
I know. But like I say, I mean, his last World Cup, his last tournament, and sometimes you've just got to put yourself in these guys' positions and think, what would I done? And, you know, if you're playing for Stockport County, mate, or whatever, you know, and you're getting in the Scotland squad, are you really going to tell Stockport County that you're injured? You know what I mean? When you get the opportunity to play in a World Cup, I'm not sure, mate. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving
I
an
do.
example of how, you know what I mean? It's like he's not a Celtic fan. You know what I mean? He's just that he's a football player. And if I was a Stockport County manager, mate, goalkeeper, and I was get a chance to get in the Scotland squad, I'm not telling Stockport that I'm injured, mate. I'm sorry, I'm just no.
No, I
But
do get it. I do get it that way, but it's just a bit baffling to me. It's just a bit baffling to me.
nah, that's fair enough. But anyway, let's continue down the path here. We're going to talk about tomorrow's game. We are away to Dundee United at Tannadice tomorrow. We are recording currently. It is 2:38 on Saturday. So Hearts are about to kick off in 20 minutes against Dundee, and then Rangers are playing Aberdeen a bit later on. So we don't know what kind of scenario we're going into tomorrow's game at. At the moment, it's 2 points behind Hearts. So there is a lot of pressure on all teams that are going to be playing today, the 3 teams. So let's talk about the Celtic game though, regardless of what happens today. I don't know if Callum McGregor is going to be fit enough to start tomorrow, Corey. I've not really kind of heard the rumours. I just know that he's been training and stuff. But the one question I like to ask you first is, Austin Trusty is now back in contention after his suspension for the kind of lash out on the Hibs player the other week. Would you put Austin Trusty right back in there alongside Liam Scales, or have you been impressed enough with Benjamin Arthur over the last few weeks to make him, stay in the team for this game tomorrow?
I've thought about this and I do not know the answer. I really don't, because I think there's pros and cons to both of them. I think I've been really impressed with that Arthur. He looks comfortable on the ball. He looks like he can deal with the pressure. I thought the Motherwell game he was really, really impressive. Even the Rangers game I thought he was really impressive. But I just think, I don't know. I just think you might go with Trusted with a bit of experience. But I wouldn't be angry either way, but if it was myself, I would probably keep Arthur. I would keep Arthur in. And I think it's kind of the same situation with the right back. Like Arthur's proved that he can play and play well with Celtic, so Trusty needs to do something in training. If he does have an opportunity to play, he needs to show it. Because like both of us have criticised Trusty for a lot of things this season. Well, as soon as he came into Celtic, so he's got a bit of pressure, he's got a bit of competition. I know it's only for 8 more games, but he needs to show what he's worth. And I think Martin O'Neill might go with Arthur. I'm sticking with that.
Aye, no, I agree. I think that Benjamin Arthur deserves to stay in the team, mate, to be honest with you. I think he's been impressive over the last few weeks. I know that Austin Trusty came in against Rangers last week and played really, really well in the cup final. A couple of weeks ago it was now. But I know he played really well in the, what did I say, the cup quarter final. He played really well at Ibrox. I thought he was actually fantastic that night. He had a really, really good game against Bologna. He did really well, a number of games this season. But I agree with you, he's prone to a mistake, which I just don't think that he's up to the task of being the long term centre half at Celtic. But I think that of Liam Scales as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think these guys are just narrowly getting away with it in Scotland because it's not the highest of quality. But I mean, as soon as we get into Europe or anything like that, man, or against Hearts we've got beat every time, and Rangers we struggle because these guys just aren't good enough. But I mean, I think Benjamin Arthur has got a touch of class. He's still very raw. He still makes mistakes. He did make a couple of mistakes against Rangers, I thought, which he kind of got away with. But I would trust him enough to go into this game tomorrow. What about in the attacking sense of things, mate? Would you stick with Maida, who has been awful? I know that he had an okay game last week against Motherwell and that, but I mean, I don't know, man. There's still other options there. Who would you go with up front?
I would prefer the natural, but I don't know what's happened to him. He's MIA at this point. That's why I feel like it'll be my it'll be my Ada again, because I don't trust Sven Chara. He doesn't look like a proper striker that we need. He's not the classic goal scorer. I've said to you, I think he would do well if it was him in front and behind the striker and maybe set him up. But that's not what we're needing right now. We need somebody who put the ball in the back of the net. And at this point, it would probably be Maeda. But it was our only bet. I know he's not played well at all this season, but it's just that other options that we've got. Iheanacho's MIA and Damu, he's no got it. Sven Chara doesn't look like a proper goal scorer, so I think we're kind of ran out of options in the attacking front.
What about in the wings and that? Would you go with Yang, and who would you play the other side?
I know we've said that he's an impact player, but I would still start Tannadice because I feel there's nobody else really until Jota's back, which doesn't look likely this season. I would say it's only Tannadice that will play there. And Yang, the same again. We don't really have much options, and that Mvuka doesn't look like it. That he's up to much. Played 45 minutes against Dundee. He was woeful. He played the extra time against Rangers, and he was even worse. So I don't think he's got much of a future. And James Forrest maybe will have a chance, but he's getting on a bit, and I'm not too sure if he'll start the game. Maybe he'll be on the bench or so, but I don't really see him starting this game. So I do think it might be Young, and also Guy Yang his credit, he did do really well last week. His goals, I thought he was really good, and his defensive work's probably one of the best in the team so far.
Agreed. I thought he was excellent last week. You've got to put Yang in there. And, I pretty much agree with everything else you said, to be honest. I don't think Fianchara's up to it. I've made my mind up on that. I don't think Adamu's up to it. Although I've not quite made my mind up on that yet, but everything we've seen so far has not been good enough. Thing is, these guys are journeymen over Europe, right?
Mhm.
We need somebody in these positions who is just a natural goal scorer. And Adamu and Fianchara are no the guys. That's why I agree with you about the Iheanacho thing. Iheanacho, if he stayed fit and we get him up front, man, he's a goal scorer. You know what I mean? He puts the ball in the back of the net when we need it. And for some reason, I don't get any updates on Iheanacho either, what's happening behind the scenes with him. And it's just, I don't know if he's just injury prone or whatever, and he's just not getting in the team. But it's madness, man.
And that's part of the issue though, because it's not really like, oh, because we're doing a podcast, we can't really predict it, but it's just like the fans, all the fans are in the dark. We don't know what's going on in the club. We don't know who's fully fit and available to play. We don't know anything, so it's like just an hour before kickoff. It's a surprise who's going to be on the team sheet, but we should be able to know what's happening in our club, but we just get told fuck all, pretty much.
And it's just baffling with Balashawa. I know right before anybody says, oh, he's terrible. I know he's not performed for Celtic, but we spent a lot of money on this guy. And the fact he's just been totally shunned at the team is just, obviously Martin O'Neill's made his mind up on him and thinks he's not good enough in that. But you would think he'd be there or thereabouts to even come on for a wee 5-10 minutes to show what he can do at the end of a game or whatever. And, he can't be completely hopeless. We spent a lot of money on the guy, you know what I mean? And we done our research on him and he was good wherever else he was, do you know what I mean? So it's like you can't be. He's an international as well. I know that he cost his team a goal in the African Cup of Nations, but I mean, he can't be terrible. Whether there's like an attitude problem, he just doesn't maybe want to be at Celtic, he made the wrong decision, or he's homesick, because we don't know what goes on. We don't know what people are thinking and what goes on in the background with certain things. Maybe there's more to it than just football reasons, but I mean, if it's just football reasons, I think Martin O'Neill should have just at least kept him in the squad and brought him in for 5-10 minutes here and there. That's just my opinion.
I do agree that it's strange that he's just completely out of the team, but the times I've seen him, it's not really been impressive. I thought the game when he started against Auckland Lake Talbot, I was like, right, it's Auckland Lake Talbot, go out there and show us what you're all about. He done nothing.
Plastic pitch, though, man. Plastic pitch, you know what I mean? It's a hard. I'm not making excuses, but that's just a hard game to come in and try and make an impact on. I mean,
I
Celtic
know,
struggled that game. We struggled that
I
game.
know,
You know what I
I
mean?
know,
And Connecty scored a lovely goal on that, but I mean, I don't know.
but he's even Martin O'Neill's changed it to play him behind the striker because I think it was before the game they were saying he wants to play behind the striker, or it was something like that. It was like he prefers there instead of the wing, or he wants to change position. It still didn't show when. It still looked awkward. It doesn't. It just maybe like you're saying that maybe he's made a mistake. He does seem that way, kind of like I don't want to be here. That's what it felt like watching that Auckland Lake Talbot game. Kind of like what Maeda's playing like the now. That's the way he was playing. Kind of like he doesn't want to be here. He's not really enjoying himself. And maybe there is stuff going on behind the scenes, like attitudes, like you were saying, or homesick or whatever. But he's just wasting his career here. He needs to either piss or get off the pot type of thing. He needs to get his career going one way or another with Celtic.
Nah, agreed, mate, agreed. But let's give me your team prediction, mate, your scoreline before we wrap up for the first episode today.
Sinisal in goals. Tierney, Scales, Arthur, Arajo in defence. In midfield, I would say Nigrin, Hatati, and Bernardo, I would like, to be honest. And up front, I would probably think Tannadice, Maeda, and Yang.
I agree with that team, mate. I think the only change I would make out of that And I'm not saying that. Well, I probably would make this change. Actually, I think it'll be Oxlade-Chamberlain for Bernardo. To be honest,
I was just thinking that maybe to get more attacking wise.
aye. Well,
As
personally,
they
I
get
would like
goals.
to see Oxlade-Chamberlain, Bernardo, and Nigrin, but
He's
it's going to
another
be
one. It's weird to me that Oxlade-Chamberlain, like, he scored a goal against Livingston, but he's not really done much else.
again, mate. I was talking about this the other day. I think he's maybe an impact player or not at his age. You know, you look at him. He scored that goal against Livingston. You say he came on the park when we beat Kilmarnock at Rugby Park last. He came on at half time. He changed the. I thought he was a major contributor in changing the game. He came on against Rangers at Ibrox in the second week, and he done really well. Whereas in the first week when he started, he was really poor.
Aye.
So there's evidence there to show that Oxlade-Chamberlain is maybe is more of a impact player. Do you know what I mean? When especially when you're leading a goal or you're needing something to happen. But I just think tomorrow, if McGregor is out, I just think that Oxlade-Chamberlain could slot in there nicely if he's fit. Hopefully, he's getting a bit fitter now, week by week, and him and it'll be Hatate and Nigrin. I think. I don't think he'll play Bernardo, Hatate, and Nigrin. Mate. I think that'll probably kind of expose too much at the back, possibly. But I mean, that's just what I think.
The fact as well, Engels is coming back. I don't know if you mentioned him in the training, but him coming back, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but I feel like our midfield's been missing since he's not been there. He's not. He doesn't do it a lot, but he's got legs. He might give away a foul, or get the team back, or whatever. I do feel like we're missing someone like Engels. I heard somebody that we're missing him for corner kicks, and I don't know what the fuck, don't know what corner kicks are seeing at Engels because I think he's fucking minging. But I think he's good with a pass and he's quite solid to an extent. And I do it. I'm quite happy that Engels is coming back into the frame as well.
Cool. Me too. Aye. So when he gets fit and that, I think he could be a player. I think the fact that Nottingham Forest bid so much for him might give him a bit of confidence to kick on. His injury might have brought him down a bit, but if he kicks on, you know, at the end of this season, if he gets back in the team and in the start of next season, if we get in the Champions League and all this stuff, then that might spur him on to keep trying and get his move in the summer, and maybe next summer or even next January.
It's kind of like what you were saying about Nigrin. It's like when he's not there, you notice he's not there. There's something missing, and I've thought the midfield's been woeful for a good few weeks. Both Rangers games, I thought there was nobody. There might as well not been a midfield at times, and I think he's a wee bit more a balanced player. He can defend when he wants to, he'll attack when he wants to. He might not. It might not come out all the time, but I do think there's a player there that we should really be nurturing, and like you said, hopefully get a couple of bids in for him in the next few years.
Without doubt, Engels has always shown potential to me. It doesn't always come off for him. He's still a young guy. I think it will eventually. You don't just get in that Belgian team, you know, for nothing and that. So he is a really good player. But anyway, what's your score prediction for tomorrow, mate?
3-1. 3-1 to the Celtic.
You want the champions?
3-1 to the champions. I feel Yang might get a goal. I think Nigrin is a safe bet to put in for a goal. And also, I would say Maeda. And I don't know who'll score for Dundee United. Stamford, him.
I'm going to say 2-0 to Celtic. I'm going to say it'll be Tannadice and Yang. And it'll be a comfortable victory. And here's hoping that Hearts and Rangers both kind of fall today again, as Hearts did last week, and Rangers struggled last week as well. So come on to Aberdeen and Money Dundee today, man. Hail, Tory boy. Everybody, thanks very much for watching this channel. It's really appreciated. It's an exciting new thing for us. As it says down the bottom here, subscribe for daily Celtic content to our YouTube channel. We are also currently on X and we're on TikTok, and Corey boy is going to sort out Spotify as well, aren't you, mate?
Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'll get that sorted.
Magic, man. Thanks everybody for watching. Hail, Monahoops.
Money Celtic.